Far from home, all they were asked to do is save the world.
We all came this close to a way of life changing.
All they were asked to do is save the world, and they did.
I hope he realizes how important his generation was.
They are from a generation so grounded in humility that even our thanks, written in stone, often prompts them to speak of someone else's service, someone else's sacrifice.
He never wanted to be a hero, I don't think. He went to do his duty.
Duty done. A life's race nearing the finish. America asks its humble heroes to accept the thanks of a grateful nation.
Again, that was the greatest generation. They had no choice but to be the greatest generation, so.
Today we meet the men and women of the Rocky Mountain Honor Flight. Hear their own words.
You know, without the trip, I just wouldn't get back there to see them.
The last time many of them were this far from home, they wondered how the years away would change the places and the people they loved.
We've had a good life.
And whether the promise, "I'll wait," had an expiration date.
So World War II, you're familiar with World War II, I know you are.
They step into a museum and see that they have lived the stories on the walls.
Just our greatness, that's all.
And a final mail call, letters from home full of love and gratitude, words that should not be left unsaid.
These memorials were built for them, to say thank you for all you've done.
Yeah, it's one of the great days of my life.
And that connection is the secret of the Rocky Mountain Honor Flight.
Until you die.
Oh, thank you.
For every veteran aboard, there's a volunteer forever changed. An airport full of important people going important places stopped in their tracks to do something more important indeed.
For Ken Carter, thank you for his service.
And there's a child who will say a century from today that they met a veteran from the greatest generation, and that they were giants in deeds alone. They were men and women from every corner of America. They rose together to meet the greatest challenge, and they earned that title for their generation. Far from home, one last time, America offers its thanks.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Clark.
And I'm Steve Stager. We've reserved a seat for you aboard the most exclusive flight leaving Denver. You cannot buy a ticket, but your fellow passengers have paid an incredible price. They fought for America while far from home.
They're from a generation that's not apt to brag or to boast, so when they speak, we ought to listen.
There's only 3 of us guys left out of my platoon after we took Normandy. There's only 3 of us guys left. I never went back to the beach.
I know there was a lot of people in the service, and there's a lot of memorialized, I know that. I would like to see it.
It means an awful lot to me because just to know that some people, most of the people, appreciate my serving.
It's got to be staggering to stand in front of them and think of what they represent and how nice it is that we have them to represent us.
I've seen pictures of it, but I haven't been east, anything from Missouri east, so it's all going to be brand new to me.
It's just it's just really a tribute to the veterans.
Appreciate it so much, because if it wasn't for them, well, I wouldn't be able to go. And I thank them very much.
I like the camaraderie aspects of it. My name is Bob Scholl, served in the Navy. I didn't win the war by myself. Fact is, I don't think I did anything really spectacular. It's nice to go back and reflect with the guys, and it's nice to be recognized, I suppose.
I'm Verna White.
I served in the Marine Corps. I served as a guard mail driver. In World War II, I didn't have any repercussions about the time I served. I was happy to be part of the force that meant freedom for this country.
War not only meant service and sacrifice. For the veterans aboard the Rocky Mountain Honor Flight, war also meant separation from the people and places they loved. Mac McClure, from the west side of the metro area, left a sweetheart behind when he deployed to Europe.
Thank you for your service, Mac McClure. Welcome to D.C.
Mac McClure is a man pulled at by invisible forces.
Isn't that great? All them signs, all these people out here, I can't believe that.
He's felt drawn to this place to make this honor flight journey for years.
Really a great trip.
This memorial is for you.
Thank you.
That same pull toward duty, responsibility.
This is just gorgeous.
It led Mac to enlist as a young man from the Midwest, and it sent him hurtling into the worst of war.
I went on Normandy Beachhead on D-Day, but as far as the fighting and all that kind of stuff, I just put all that behind me. I can't dwell on that stuff.
But grand sights and good company remind Mac that not every day spent far from home is a bad one.
This is really outstanding, great.
But every day spent far from home means feeling an invisible force pulling you back.
Oh, getting to come home. I was over there for 4 years.
The lucky guys over there had a girl waiting at home. The luckiest among them today still do.
It's just, I wish my wife could be here and she can see all this because she would really enjoy it.
Of all the invisible forces that tug at Mac McClure, only one in his whole life has been irresistible. Betty.
My wife is in a nursing home, but she's doing real good.
Okay, guys, here we go. It's a B. B for Betty's.
Okay.
Betty
All right.
is a force indeed.
I bet he's having fun.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
Betty's always been comfortable flying solo without the gunner she fell in love with before the war.
Now, I have my interests, and he has his interests. And we allow each other to do those things.
You enjoy your day.
Oh, thank you.
And I think it's why we've been together for so long.
He made her promise she'd see other people while he was in the service.
I didn't mind it. It let me do my thing.
Don't misunderstand.
Shoot a couple more with mine, would you please?
She wishes that Mac was here.
Yeah, I miss him. Let's see here.
But no time apart can compare to their first.
This is him.
4 years gone.
Well, I hated being apart, but my life was changing too.
She graduated school, took nursing classes. Mac's letters home grew less frequent, then stopped.
The period that we didn't hear from him for months, I was really worried. Really worried.
Her faith always told her Mac was coming home, and he did. But they were different people after 4 years, and they decided they shouldn't get married after all.
We just didn't know each other.
They were married 2 weeks later.
Well, we just fell in love all over again.
Mac and Betty have always had that irresistible kind of love. Married 72 years and counting.
We've had a good life.
Their bond stretched clear to Europe without breaking. It's been tested since.
Hi guys, I'm Mac.
There were the years when Mac worked 2 jobs, long stretches on the road, but Mac always hurried home.
And he usually just says, "Hi, babe."
Then just recently, Betty had her fall and landed in a nursing home.
We're not happy with the fact that we're not together all the time. The fact that I am here. And I will be here the rest of my life.
But this is Betty, who sees adventure in adversity.
You know, it takes more energy to be sad and mad than it does to smile. And thank the Lord for what you have.
She's in good hands. I'll give her a call after a while.
And this is Mac, who always comes home.
Yes, he comes every day, except when you have a lot of snow.
Let me see if I can call her. Now, let me get Betty. There she is.
Yes.
Now, let's see if she's on here.
Mac is coming home.
There he is. Hello.
Hi, sweetheart.
Hi. Are you having a good time?
Oh, yeah, I'm having a ball. I'll tell you, there's no way to explain what this is.
Oh, good. Well, you can tell me all about it when you get back.
Tell everybody I said hello.
Okay. Now I'm looking forward to you getting back.
Okay, sweetie. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I love you.
Love you.
Mac and Betty's homecoming in just a bit.
I was 17, just out of high school, and we didn't have the funds for college. So I decided to get into the service in the Marine Corps, just to be back there, get through the museums, and meet a bunch of good people.
I would just like to see them all before I die. I just think it's going to be a very emotional, never forget time in my life. It's exciting. I wanted to see all the war memorials while I still had time left. I know I don't have much time in front of me. I got a lot behind me, but that's why I wanted to go on this trip.
The purpose of this entire trip is for the veterans to experience the monuments built in their honor in Washington, D.C. But once you get on the ground, you quickly realize that's just a small part of it. The real tribute comes with the recognition these men and women receive, sometimes from complete strangers.
I'm not scheduled to do a tour with you or anything, but I thought I might give you a little orientation to this room.
You could argue these men don't need a tour guide.
So World War II, you're familiar with World War II, I know you are.
There isn't much in this room they don't already know about.
The artist researched squadron photos.
They know it pretty well.
So he looked at a number of missions, World War II missions with B-17s.
Mac McClure was a gunner on a B-17.
And so when he painted this mural for the opening of the museum in 1976, everything about it is historically accurate.
Buster Chittister flew one in World War II as well.
This particular scene was about 11:30 in the morning on August 15th, 1944.
They know how real this is.
After this mission, about 10 days later, this entire crew went to another airplane, and they were all but 2 of them were killed in a shoot-down.
Because they've been there.
It's one of the greatest places I've been in many, many years, and I'm glad I got to make it.
Buster knows.
Our airplane was hit three times, and this is just this one little piece.
He keeps an artifact of his own around his neck.
And then I had a machinist drill it so I could put it on my dog chain.
The tour is a reminder of what these men have seen.
And when we get the actual veterans in the museum, we want to make sure that they're given due honors and recognized for their contribution.
They don't need a guide.
I saw you guys. I thought I'd come down and give you some orientation. You bet.
But they certainly appreciate it.
Yeah, it's one of the great days of my life.
Recognition comes naturally on this trip.
I do not feel like I have given anything compared to those men and women that served and died in the Second World War.
Mutual respect from a veteran of one era
No.
to another.
No.
Don Fox was on an aircraft carrier during the Korean War.
This is something I want to really see.
So he's naturally drawn here.
Very impressive.
To the memorial for his era of service.
And how cold it was. You can see their ponchos and everything to try and keep them warm and dry.
Yet while he stares at this scene from a time he knows well,
this is so terrific to be able to see these statues here.
His mind is somewhere else.
What I remember and think about is those men and women that died so we could have our freedoms today. And that's what I remember.
On a day recognizing his service, he's thinking about those whose service led to the ultimate sacrifice.
Sometimes it brings a little tear to me to think about what they have given so I can have my freedoms.
I have a friend who did this trip the last time, and he was so enthusiastic about it. He says, you gotta go. If someone wants to thank you, if someone wants to thank you, you should be gracious enough to accept it. And
Ken Carter. I served in the Navy during World War II on Guam. I've been looking forward to this since 2005. My wife got Alzheimer's and I wouldn't leave her. She passed away a year ago. I promised her I'd go. Right now she's probably looking down on me and saying, "Oh man, you're finally gonna go."
Some of the most powerful moments on the Rocky Mountain Honor Flight don't happen in Washington. They happen on the 3-hour flight back from the nation's capital. After 3 busy days, the vets are tired, but they wake right up when they hear the voice of a flight attendant over the loudspeaker, and they feel something they haven't experienced in decades.
On a trip meant to pay honor to those who served, the returning flight is no different.
All right, can you hear me?
Look no further than this crew member's name tag
My name's Joy.
to learn what's coming next.
It's too hard to explain.
While they were far from home, these men and women cherished messages from friends and family.
Technical Sergeant Edward Nunez. Sergeant Buster Chidster. Seaman 3rd Vernon Helbig. Fireman 1st Class Millard Bergstaller. U.S. Navy, where are you at?
Now these letters have a much different meaning.
Corporal Donald Bush, United States Army, where are you at, sir?
They are messages of thanks.
Thank you for keeping us safe.
Dear veteran, my name is Courtney. I am 8 years old. We are free because of you.
Dear veteran, thank you so much for your service to our country.
The USA is now the home of the free and the brave because of you.
I hope that you have fun at Washington, D.C., so that you can be proud of what you did.
In the back, I have a small American flag.
Mrs. Helbig's 4th grade class hasn't quite hit this page of the history book yet.
And we don't really study the history of World War II in 4th grade.
But they get it.
But these kids do understand empathy and honor and patriotism. They have hearts of gold.
Dear veteran, I hope you have a good trip to Washington, D.C.
I appreciate you risking your life for our country.
Thank you, Mr. Helbig. I salute you. Sincerely, Tyson Watson.
These kids get it almost as much as family members do.
Dear Dad, I can't begin to tell you how impactful this trip is for me.
Marcy Sontag has been waiting years to take her dad on this special trip.
He honestly, I think, feels he played a small part in the war. He was a cook on a repair ship in the Pacific.
It wasn't hard to find the right words.
You were barely old enough to serve before the war ended, and yet you signed up as soon as you could.
The right words to remind him that his service matters.
You mean the world to me. Thank you for serving, Dad. I love you, Marcy. I hope he realizes how important his generation was.
Dear Papa, thank you so much for everything you've done for me.
She got a good seat to watch as he did.
Look at that stack of letters we got from the kids. I can't explain even what it means. I mean, it's just priceless, you know. It's a trip of a lifetime.
Thank you for serving for the red, white, and blue.
Thank you is a phrase we learn early in life.
Thank you for risking your life.
It's also a phrase so often forgotten.
Thank you for giving us freedom.
Perhaps that's what makes it so powerful.
I'm an ex-teacher, retired teacher, and I love kids. And when kids love me, I'm happy. And I'm crying. Thank you so much for your service to our great country.
They are just a few words on a sheet of paper.
It's kind of hard for me to say right now. I'm all broke up over this. Just to be honored like this, I'm sorry. I can't say much.
Just a few words that have these heroes speechless.
We end up close to home, in Colorado, where Betty is reunited with Mac, just as she was 72 years ago.
And I bet you look younger than any of them.
I was the best looking one there.
Yeah, I know you're the best.
When Mac came back to Betty after the war, he didn't want to talk about what he'd seen.
Oh, I tell you, the flight was good. Oh, we just had a ball.
What a difference a lifetime makes, and a chance to be among brothers during peacetime.
But I didn't have any trouble sleeping, I'll tell you.
Woo! Mac might never stop talking.
Was your flight good?
Huh?
Was your flight good?
Boy, the one going over was pretty rough.
Mac and Betty's long life together has not been without trouble and loss. Betty's health now means that they live apart, but remain inseparable.
I mean, we were busy because you don't stop from the time you get up until you go to bed. You just don't stop.
Their love is a reminder of what every veteran aboard the honor flight will tell you, that they were fortunate to have come home from war so they could live a lifetime of highs and lows.
I could go back and go on that again. I really could.
Well, I'm so glad you had such a good time.
A lifetime capped off with a soaring high.
Okay, huh? Just still. I'll see you later.
And a second homecoming.
See you later, sweetie.
Okay.
That's twice as sweet.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you to everyone from Colorado who made the Rocky Mountain Honor Flight possible. All of you who generously donated your time and resources to give our heroes the trip of a lifetime.
From all of us at 9 News, thanks for joining us.